Good evening and welcome to the first Historic Preservation Commission meeting of 2021. And I will call the meeting to order. And Christy, would you mind calling the roll?
Sure. Casey Sampson.
Present.
Scott Sewell.
Present.
Nicole Wethington. Present. George Piper.
A quorum to conduct business. First opening here, we have election of officers for the first of the year. Entertain a motion for the slate of officers.
I move that we keep the same officers as 2020.
Okay, we have a motion to keep the same officers as 2020. Second? And a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And the next quick item is the approval of minutes. Those are the minutes from October 2020, a few months ago. If everyone's had a chance to review those minutes, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve?
Motion and a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. And seeing no old business, so we're right to new business, which is a certificate of appropriateness, and we'll hear from Derek with staff first.
Good evening, Commission. Welcome to 2021. Thanks for showing up tonight. So the first application for 2021, and I do apologize, I'm now looking at my staff report and I have January 7th, 2020 on there. So
Let's not repeat.
I'm sure it's not the first time I've wrote 2020 in 2021, but it's the first time I've caught it. So tonight on the application for a certificate of appropriateness is Melinda Spalding. I've been calling her Mindy, so I apologize if I should be calling her Melinda, but Melinda Spalding who is on the applicant for 320 East Main Street in Lebanon, Indiana, 46052. The property is zoned central business, and this property has not been before the Historic Preservation Commission previously. The classification of the building is contributing, which is a building less than 50 years old and which is compatible with its historic surroundings, or a building which is over 40 years old and whose historic character remains, but does not rise to the level of notable or outstanding. This building is not included in the National Register of Historic Places, Lebanon Courthouse Square Historic District. The action tonight for the certificate of appropriateness is to seek approval for the painting of the exterior of the building, installing a new pass-through door, installing new cedar siding, and installing a yet-to-be-done painted mural. The applicant is seeking a COA to whitewash portions of the facade, including the non-historic brick and cedar accents. So before I go on with the staff analysis, I would also like to point out that this building, if there are any remains of the actual historic building, they are buried deep within the bones of this building. This is on the very fringe of our district, and on the 1920 city plat that we do have in our archives, it does show the gas station that was there. But the gas station, again, if it was there, is certainly long gone. When I was a kid, I knew it as Bob's Car Wash, so which was an unbelievable experience as a kid to be able to, go through a car wash. It was like the first Mike's Car Wash on planet Earth, I think. Anyway. So the applicant would like to paint the non-historic window trim black and the concrete block of the building black as well. The applicant is proposing to paint an angel wing mural, which I sent you a picture of, an example of what she's thinking about doing, on the north-facing side, using white for the wings to contrast the black. The previous colors used on the building were hunter green and natural cedar. The applicant has already done a whitewash to the building and some of this work that I'm describing tonight. We've had the conversations of how do you reach out to applicants to let them know they're in the district, and it's an ongoing battle. And I've mentioned before, it's an ongoing battle, not only in the district, but in the entire city. when you start dealing with ordinances and codes and districts. So the applicant closed on the property, started doing work almost immediately. Staff contacted the applicant and said, we need to get a COA just so that you're above board on everything. So that's a sweet and short, brief explanation of why we're doing some of this in retro. So the applicant has removed 2 windows on the east-facing wall and replaced them with a door, and smooth cedar siding with a whitewashed application to match. There are also 2 spaces on the east side of the building that had once possibly been full-length windows, but were taken out long before we even had a district, somewhere in the botanical garden restoration days, if any of you remember that. The windows have not been installed since at least 2013, based on the Google Street images that were attached in your packet. The material in these spaces was some sort of painted hunter green concrete board that had become rotten. The applicant has replaced the concrete board with smooth cedar siding with a whitewashed application to match. As I mentioned, the applicant unknowingly knew that the building was in the district, has already started some of the work and completed the whitewashing. In the information provided to you tonight, you have seen the Google images that showed the building previous to the whitewash and then prior to what has already been done. So staff recommendation, although the building is graded as contributing, the original structure, as I mentioned, that was on the site is non-existent. Staff believes the grade of contributing was designated to the structure under the pretense of it being under 50 years old, but compatible with its surroundings. The extensive remodels of the past have left the building with a great deal of charm and character, which does complement the district very well. The changes in color to the building has updated the look of the facade and has improved the previous dated look. The cedar and the hunter green from the 1990s. The door replacing the windows is to provide better access to serve the space and use in that area of the structure. Staff believes that the changes have not had a negative impact on the structure or the district. The proposed work is respectful to the architectural elements of the building and will not have a significant impact on the historical character of the building or the district. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the application for certificate of appropriateness. So there's a lot in there. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. The applicant is also here tonight to answer any questions that you may have for her as well.
Okay, any questions for Derek? Any questions for the applicant? Being that the, hello, George. Being that the building is in the area but doesn't have those historic features, I think this is one of those conditions where we just accept what we have at this point. I think the renovations done thus far are very complimentary to the downtown, and I think the building itself is complimentary to the downtown, so I personally agree with the staff recommendation to approve this COA, and I would entertain a motion to do so. I'll make a motion that we approve the COA as submitted.
I second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I'm sorry, Casey, just
I'm sorry.
one quick question, because I know we've had some lengthy discussion about it in the past. So in this approval, you are giving the blessing for the mural as well?
Yes, because the building's not, I think a bigger problem with that was the location, and being that this building is on the outskirts of the structure, isn't on the original structure, I think makes a big difference for me, so.
Okay, just wanted to make that clear.
Yep.
For the record, thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, thank you very much. Is there any other business to come before the board? With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved. All right, thank you very much, and we'll be back in February.